This is The Wheel Weaves, a Wheel of Time podcast with no spoilers. Welcome, listeners. I'm your host, Dani, and I'm the first-time reader who's going through this 15-book series chapter by chapter. I have a baby now, and she wants to help me record this intro.
Hello.
As always, there are no spoilers past the chapter we're covering, and this is never gonna work. No. I'm joined by my co-host Brett, who's a longtime fan of the series, and he's acting as my tour guide on this journey. We'd also like to thank and acknowledge our executive producers, Brandy and Aaron Kirkwood. In this episode, we're talking about Chapter 2 of The Shadow Rising.
Yeah, we're only doing the one chapter, like we said, and it's called Whirlpools in the Pattern.
Yes.
And I gotta say, we gotta make a couple of redactions from last episode, apparently, because we got some stuff wrong.
Really?
Yeah,
already?
We did.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily like Wheel of Time, but number one, apparently, and I don't remember this, but apparently I called How to Train Your Dragon, How to Meet Your Dragon or something like that. I don't even know.
How I Met Your Dragon?
How I Met Your Dragon. So it's How to Train Your Dragon.
Yes.
And then more importantly...
I totally knew exactly what you were talking about.
Oh, yeah, I know. I'm pretty sure everyone did, but I don't even know if I said that. I can't be responsible for everything I say. And then more importantly, we had mentioned we received a couple of gifts from one of our awesome patrons, and we called her Nerdy Kitty.
Yeah.
But turns out...
her Discord name is Nerdy Nitty.
I literally have never read it that way.
Knitty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from the beginning, I've always read it as Nerdy Kitty.
Yeah.
Didn't think anything about it.
I know, me too.
Yeah.
I feel bad.
But
so
it's not bad.
Here's our correction.
Yeah.
Yes. Because,
Nerdy Nitty. But
yeah.
the whole knitting thing makes a lot more sense because... Knitting.
Yeah.
So, okay. But there you go.
Yep.
And then one thing we didn't talk about was the fact that Terran Ferry did in fact rebuild their ferry.
Yeah, I thought about that after, because the last time we were at the Terran River, Moraine totally sunk their ferry.
With a whirlpool.
With a whirlpool.
Oh my, it all connects.
It all
there you
connects.
go.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, so now we're back on track, heading into chapter 2, and I gotta say, I'm really excited because there's so many funny things that happens in this chapter.
Okay, before we move on though...
Sure.
I have to say, I'm never again mentioning that I don't know how these ferries work.
You're gonna just like lie about it and be like, I get it completely.
I get it now. The amount of people who try to explain this to me, and bless their hearts, seriously trying so hard, I'm never gonna get it.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
It's in the nicest way possible. It's wasted effort. She doesn't get it. You're never gonna get it.
I'll watch some videos.
No, you won't.
Maybe if I watch videos, I'll get it, because I'm very visual.
Sure.
So
let's go with that.
I just can't picture it, but I'm going to start lying and saying that I do, so people stop trying so hard to help me.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, it's wasted effort.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Okay, now we can move on.
Now we can move on.
Yeah.
Okay, and you have a fact for us to start us off?
A fun one. And it's one that I wanted to do last book, but I never really had the time to do it.
Okay.
But I looked back through the first 3 books of the Wheel of Time, and I compiled information as to which chapter symbols were the most popular and the least popular.
Okay.
It was kind of interesting to like see which ones like came up the most, and I want to make you guess to see which ones you think showed up the most and the least.
In last book?
All 3 books. Book 1, 2, 3. And I got a
Ooh.
full page of stats, as you can see beside me.
Oh, yeah, I was wondering what
That's like the breakdown of like
there.
which chapters, which symbols, which books, all that good stuff. There's some good, statistics we can pull out of that. But what do you think was the most popular from the first 3 books all combined?
You're putting me on the spot.
I definitely am.
Yikes.
And
okay.
I'll give you a hint.
I don't want a hint.
Okay.
Okay. Look, is it the wheelie snake?
Okay, so here's the thing. 2 tied for first place. And the wheelie snake is one of them.
Okay.
Coming in at 19 occurrences. 3 in the first, 7 in the second, 9 in the third is the wheel and snake symbol.
Okay.
So what do you think tied with the wheel and snake at 19 occurrences?
Okay, so I have to think about the chapter symbols.
Yeah, it's
which
hard.
I haven't done in a while, thinking actually about them.
Like which ones there are?
Yeah, which ones there are, what they represent. And so I'm going to go with the Flame of Tarvalin, the Aes Sedai symbol, the female one.
Yeah, for Sidar.
Yeah.
Okay. You are correct.
Yay, okay.
Yeah. So that had 3 in the first, 8 in the second, and 8 in the third.
Whoa.
Yeah. So now least popular across all 3 books.
Least popular?
Least popular, occurring, well, obviously at least once, otherwise we wouldn't know it.
Yeah, I'm going to say the waves.
Okay.
That was probably only once, right?
That's a really good guess, but you're incorrect. The waves showed up twice.
Ah, they did?
Yeah. A bunch of them showed up twice, yeah. I didn't say a bunch, but like it's a couple.
How about the dragon?
The dragon is one of them, but there's a 2-way tie for the least popular.
Oh.
So the dragon is one. We saw that at like the very end of book 3, and that's it. Yeah. And then which one also occurred once?
Oh my god.
There's only one other that occurred one time.
Is it the Avendosora, like the tree? Like the tree.
Big tree?
The one that looks like an apple tree, but it's like swirly.
I think you just should have... I don't know what you're talking about, but it is the great tree.
Yeah, that's
the one that we saw when we saw Studying Sofu.
Yeah.
In book 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the other one that occurred one time when we went to Ogier Grove.
Nice.
So good job. High five.
Thank you.
That was good.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That was fun.
That was fun. Now we can move on, or you can guess which ones only showed up in the first book and never again.
Okay, just tell me, and then we'll move on.
There's a couple. There's the full moon and the dead tree, showed up 5 times in book 1 and never again. We had the staff 6 times in book 1 and never again. And then the withered tree, the weird looking one.
Oh, yes.
Yep, showed up twice and then never again.
Okay.
So there you go, fun facts.
That's so fun.
Hey, you said you had fun doing that.
It was fun.
So.
I had the trivia. Like, that part was fun.
Okay, so let's move into the chapter because there's lots to talk about.
Tons.
And like I was saying, this is so funny because there's so many funny things. In my eyes. Okay, funny. In my eyes. Yeah.
Funny, like ha-ha funny?
Mostly with Rand, yeah. Like ha-ha funny.
Oh, yeah.
Rand's entire sequence is hilarious to me.
That's true. I did enjoy that.
Yeah.
Okay, so getting into chapter 2, Whirlpools in the Pattern, and we have our dragon picture. So I guess this is the second time
exactly.
we've seen it. Okay. So we are back in tier. We're picking up from where we left off at the end of The Dragon Reborn.
Yeah, give or take a little while.
Which definitely makes me feel like chapter 1 was a prologue.
Oh, for sure.
Because it didn't pick up from...
Yeah.
the end of the book.
No, I totally agree.
So, we have our crew basically back in tier, still in tier. We have the dragon banner flying above the Stone of Tyr, which is a serpent with a mane of a lion.
Yep.
Which is also gold and scarlet.
Nice.
And you know what that made me think of?
Oh, is that why I had to prepare shots?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, man, that is weak.
It's weak.
Mine from last time was better. I don't know what you're talking about.
A random quote from the movies is not the same as a direct comparison that J.K. Rowling totally took from this book.
Is that like the Gryffindor symbol?
Gryffindor is a lion.
Yeah.
That is scarlet and gold.
Oh, my God. I didn't know that.
And, it actually looks like the Andor lion.
Okay.
Like when you have a Gryffindor banner.
Yeah.
It's the lion.
Yeah.
Like standing on its
Makes
back
sense.
legs like that.
That's like from Lego too. Back when I was a kid.
Lego.
Like the lion symbol on the knights.
Yeah, like the lion thing. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But the whole gold and scarlet.
The colors definitely stolen.
For the hero and the main character.
That's pretty funny.
Okay. It's shot worthy, I thought.
Sure. Yeah, I'll take it. I'm not gonna say no to this.
Okay. So you prepared these shots for us, and I have a teeny little mug of a shot glass.
Yes.
And it is from the Mariner of the Seas.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny.
Which was a Caribbean cruise I went on.
Yeah, and I randomly picked these out, and they're both water-based.
Oh, yeah. Themed.
And this one was gifted to us, and it is the Hooked on Minnesota that is a fish, basically, coming out of the shot glass.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
It's a pretty good one, so, coincidence, but hey.
Okay, cheers.
Cheers. To bad Harry Potter references.
Okay. Okay.
And just on a side note about Tyr, because we get a lot of world building in this chapter, they do recognize that whoever holds the stone is the Lord of Tyr. So since Rand conquered it, he's the new Lord.
Yeah.
And pretty much everyone's just kind of going with it.
Right. And even though they're clearly not 100% comfortable with it.
Yeah.
They all just know they have to go with it.
Yeah, they are going with it.
And we get that with the Matt perspective in this chapter.
More so, because the whole,
because they're kind of drunk and they're spewing things that maybe they shouldn't.
Jumping ahead.
I'm jumping ahead. Okay. So, for this perspective, we get into Perrin's head. He is in his room at the Stone of Tyr. So, I guess he's just okay now.
Yeah.
Considering the last we left him, he was in a pool of his own blood with 1,000,000 cuts all over his body.
And he just saved Fail.
And I guess she's okay too. And survived the dream world. But, no one mentions that here at all.
Yeah, so, I guess we can assume a little bit of a time lapse.
Well, we do get that it's a month later.
Yeah, so...
But... This is the first time we've seen any of it,
and
there's not a single mention.
We're not going to talk about that anymore.
So we just assume everyone's fine and everything's okay.
Except Perrin is growing a beard.
Yeah. So let me set the scene here for you. So she is pacing away nervously, and Perrin is scratching his itchy beard because Fail wants him to have one.
Yes, but it's his beard and he can shave whenever he wants to.
But he's not going to.
No, I was going to ask, is he ever shaving his beard again?
No.
Okay. Out of spite, maybe?
Although he does think to himself, I'm shaving this off when he's mad at her.
Yeah.
But no, he's not actually going to, because that'll actually upset her, and he doesn't want to actually upset anyone, even if he is mad.
That's true, and more importantly,
Perrin.
Egwene's, vision came true.
Oh, yeah. Huh? Perrin with a beard?
My goodness, that's crazy.
So, plus... Matt is better with girls than he is.
Nice reference.
Thank you.
We haven't seen that for a while, so...
Not a little while, you're right. And so, we do get later that Fail and Perrin have already been doing some kissing.
They have been. Well, and probably sharing a room, so I was going to ask you...
Yeah.
Explain this to me.
Yeah.
How far do you think this has gone?
Kissing.
Kissing?
Oh, yeah.
No,
No.
Nothing more?
I don't believe we're gonna get any of our main characters having hookups without hearing about it.
Okay, so not off-screen action necessarily.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Mostly because I don't want that. I want on-screen action.
I want to see. I want to visualize it. Okay.
Yeah.
Romance novel. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not?
Yeah.
Okay, but I just noted here that it was funny that he thinks Matt's better with girls than he is, but he's the one with the girlfriend.
That's true.
And doing some kissing. And at this point in my reading,
yeah.
I was like, I'm pretty sure Matt's done no kissing. But then...
Are you sure about that?
Now we get into... Well, I think he tries really hard.
Okay.
To get some kissing.
But you don't think ever prior he's never been able to talk himself into... Even in Emmons Field? You're telling me that Matt's not the kind of guy...
It just didn't strike me as a make-out town.
I'm just saying, if you were in Emmons Field with Matt, I'm just saying.
Okay, let's wait till we get into Rand's perspective when he can't even look at a girl.
Okay.
Because he's not betrothed to her. Okay.
I have things to say about that too, because that's my part to summarize. I'm really excited.
Okay, this was a really small point, so we can.
Yeah.
We could move on. So Fael is clearly annoyed at life right now. She doesn't like being all pent up here. And Perrin is annoyed at his fancy room because he's Rand's friend.
Yeah.
So.
But it's not fancy though. It's the simplest of the fancy rooms.
Right. And Fael thinks he deserves even better.
Yeah.
And she says that he does not stand up for himself enough.
Yeah, because he's taking the simple rooms.
Well, and there's definitely a John Mulaney joke here about an airline and putting up with anything, and then your girlfriend comes along.
Here's a meal voucher. It doesn't work.
Let's see if Southwest has any flights. That's what the girlfriend says. Okay.
That's basically their relationship at this point. You did miss, though, where Fael is for sure from and what her father does.
Saldea.
Yeah, Saldea. So it was speculated about.
Yes.
And now we kind of get confirmation, and that her father is the biggest fur trader in Saldea.
Right.
At least that's what she's telling Perrin, but we're not 100% sure still.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we get that Rand's time right now is all taken up by the Tyrian lords, and basically he has no interest in Perrin anymore. He is surrounded by people all the time.
Yeah, and again, this is from Fael's perspective too.
Yeah.
So, like, who knows if
and
that's
it's been
actually...
like a month, but I'm sure that's exactly what it is.
It could be,
and we get later on that that's exactly what
and
it
is. And is Perrin pushing, though, for more, like, Rand FaceTime? Or...
No, definitely not. No, he's definitely avoiding him.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to actually hang out with him. He's terrifying.
It's just a really interesting, like, dynamic here that Fael's going off of, so...
Mm-hmm. So, Fael wants to leave, and Perrin says, well, maybe you should. It's dangerous here. And then she talks about how LTT killed everyone he knew and loved, and it's probably only a matter of time before he does it again. Mm-hmm. But then Perrin gets super defensive of his friend Rand.
Yeah. So, Rand not being exactly LTT is, like, one thing.
Yeah.
And I kind of get that. When it comes down to the whole Perrin and Fael conversation, though, he's clearly answering the wrong way.
Oh, yeah, she's getting pissed.
Yeah. It's like you're supposed to ask her to stay.
Yeah.
You're not supposed
to... Well, and if you don't know, I'm not going to tell you.
Gotta throw some of that in there, too.
Oh, yeah. There's lots of that peppered all in this entire conversation.
Yeah.
So, she wants Perrin to go with her, if she leaves.
Yeah. We're not sure yet.
Yeah, because Moraine apparently has been asking about him, and she doesn't like that.
Well, also, just referencing the fact that because Moraine is asking, like, where they are, that means that she can't magically, like, determine their location, so they can escape without Moraine knowing it.
Ah.
That's kind of the point she's going off of
there. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, she's like, we could be gone before she knows, because if she's asking about...
So they've lost their GPS coins, is what you're saying?
Probably a long time ago, yeah.
We never really got any...
No follow-up.
None, actually.
Matt probably spent his at some point.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, they didn't... Okay. Didn't they get them away on the boat, like, way back with Bail Domon?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that a thing? And then, like... And Moraine still had
and they never got them back.
Yeah.
No, Perrin still had his. That's
Maybe
how...
they did get them back? I can't remember. Oh, my God.
That's how stupid a plot point that was. No, just kidding.
No time for that now. Anyways, yeah. So that's a thing. But that was a big point she was kind of making there, too. Like,
yeah,
we can get away.
Yeah. But he knows he can't leave. Blah, blah, blah. Rand needs me.
I have a duty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he tries to distract her with a kiss.
Doesn't work. Dodged.
And then this is the first we really get that they're like a couple now.
They are.
And
they are 100% a couple.
Kiss frequently, which I think is a pretty big deal for these like little country boys.
Very conservative boys.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I found it a big deal.
But again, no more than kissing, you don't think?
No.
Okay.
No. I don't think so.
All right.
I don't know. It didn't happen in the forge. So, I'm waiting.
I got nothing. I can't say anything. I don't know what we're rating this podcast as right now, but okay.
So, anyways, he doesn't kiss her, it doesn't work, and then she crosses her arms beneath her breasts because...
Obviously. Where do you cross your arms?
Not beneath my breasts, of course.
If you do it that way, you can push them together, right?
Right.
Okay.
So, more about how he's part of Rand's destiny and can't leave him, which pisses her off, but... he gets mad and shouts at her. It's just like...
That's new to Perrin, though.
Yeah.
Like, we don't really know Perrin as a shouter.
No, I said go Perrin.
Yeah.
In my notes.
Like standing up for himself a little bit.
She just complained that he doesn't stand up for himself, but then when he stands up for himself in this conversation, that's annoying.
Yeah, not like that.
Yeah. So, we've heard all of this conversation before, and it just seems to go on and on and on.
It's a recap.
It's just a recap.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it is. And then we get into some newer stuff with the axe and hammer situation.
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
So, more about how Perrin doesn't get women, and then we get a note about him saying that Tom Marilyn is in the stone now.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
He didn't die.
He didn't die.
So that's good.
Yeah. He's probably not shacked up with Mother Gwenna.
So, yeah, that didn't happen. He seems to be healed. Yep, that's true.
They went back and got him, which is nice.
Yeah.
And Matt didn't just forget about him.
We get a little reference, and we'll talk about it later, but it seems like Tom might be helping a little bit here and there.
Yes. Well, he's offering his Tom Marilyn advice.
Of course he will. And that's that's a Tom thing to do.
Yeah. And so we also get a little bit of a note about how he has young girls fawning all over him.
Tom.
Yes.
Okay,
Tom.
Yeah.
And I just have to say, I can admit when I'm wrong.
About the kissing thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean...
I changed my mind about the waitresses in Tarvalon.
Okay.
When I was reading it, I didn't get the vibe that it was like sexual or romantic in any way.
And I can understand that.
But it was.
It definitely was.
And I was wrong. I can admit that.
You know what? That's an okay thing to be mistaken about. So, yeah.
You won't hear it very often.
I have an advantage a little bit about it, so...
No, I know you do. But I just have to tell you how I read the scene.
And I respect that, so yeah.
But I was totally wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to say it too much more.
Yeah, I mean, it only happens once in a, So.
I have another point in this episode where I'm going to say I was wrong. So brace yourself.
Oh my God,
yeah.
okay.
Okay. So then things get good.
Oh wait, but before, we do get a reference that Perrin says that Fail is the only woman Perrin wants. Just as to like reinforce this whole like relationship. Yeah.
Okay. So outside in the darkness.
Let's talk about that cock.
Crowing. A rooster crows.
The cock crows, yeah.
The cock crows.
Yeah.
So Fail shivers and says that she had a nurse who said that meant death was coming.
Oh, no.
And then Perrin hears a scraping sound as the axe that's leaning against the wall falls over and then flies at his face.
Oh, my God.
What?
When you first read this, you were like probably
I didn't get what was going on at all.
Yeah, that's what I assumed, yeah. You got to read it twice. You got to do a double take and be like, what is happening?
Yeah, inanimate objects
came to life.
Trying to murder him.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
It's madness.
So, it is madness. Oh, good word.
I'm just taking it from what Perrin says.
Interesting word. Yeah, okay. So, Fail grabs the handle and tries to stop it, but it's like all alive and trying to kill her.
Yeah.
You know what I picture? You know the old-timey Mickey Mouse Fantasia?
Definitely.
Where the brooms come alive?
Yeah, love it.
Imagine them going evil.
Oh, I can, because one of my favorite spells in D&D is animate objects.
No, it's not.
100%. It's super powerful.
Is it because of this chapter?
Not even at all. It's just like a really powerful spell. But, making stuff come alive, super effective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's what I picture.
I love it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, Perrin grabs the axe from her... And it's all like thrashing around, trying to get her. And then he yells at Fael to get out. And she doesn't want to get out. So he shoves her out.
Yeah.
And
he's a big dude, so he can handle the axe and her.
Yeah. So he's stopping the axe from reaching her. And she's shouting now on the other side of the door. And he's fighting with the axe.
Yes.
So.
Do we want to do a role play of like,
whoa! No, because no one can see us.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
We should have done a video.
Well, yeah, except for everything.
Except for everything that's happening right now. But that's okay. Don't jinx it.
Yeah.
Baby is sleeping.
Shh. Okay.
Don't jinx it. Okay. So, you're interrupting the really exciting scene.
Oh, yeah. Let's go.
So, Perrin decides to let the blade of the axe drive towards his face, and then he dives out of the way so the blade buries in the wood of the door.
Awesome.
He feels the life go out of the axe. And he opens the door to find Fael standing there frozen an inch away from the blade. And it had come through this thick wood door. That's how hard.
Close call.
And forceful this was. She flings herself on him, starts kissing his neck and beard. And then she pushes back to make sure he isn't hurt. It's a whole dramatic scene.
Very dramatic. And it's a super close call.
And then she slaps him.
Hard as she can. Yep.
And this is just like a roller coaster of emotions.
Oh, yeah.
So
how are you feeling about this reaction?
I would say that she certainly cares for him.
She has an interesting way of showing the caring that is, exploding from her body.
Yeah.
In an explosive
she
fist.
She thought he was dead, and now she's mad at him for that. And he catches her wrist before she can slap him again and says...
Because she's going for it.
Don't do that.
Yeah. Well, it's a funny dynamic, and it's this is one of the whole big controversial things about the Fael Perrin, relationship here with the physicalness of it.
Yeah.
Is should you be slapping Perrin?
No.
Okay, but then it comes down.
We were told to keep the baby noises in, so.
Okay, so yeah, so it comes down to she doesn't like Perrin protecting her. In that sense.
Right.
Except she does another 180, so we gotta figure this out.
I feel like she's got a lot going on. She's got a lot going on emotionally right now, and I feel like she's just having a difficult time.
Tensions are high?
Controlling things.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
I told you jinxed it.
You jinxed it. You said it.
So he wants to protect her, and she doesn't want protecting, that whole thing. And Perrin thinks that this was Rand's doing.
Yeah, so that's the big question here in this entire chapter.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to need an answer, too.
Perrin thinks madness follows him everywhere he goes, and he wants to tell Rand to stop this right now, so off they go together to tell Rand to knock it off.
Yeah.
Basically. Now, I don't know.
Oh, okay. That's what you're going with?
I gotta tell you.
You don't know? Okay.
It's magical.
So we know that weird stuff happens in Rand's presence. Like, we've gotten that before.
Yeah, but typically not to Rand.
The one exception, I'm going to put a big asterisk beside it. We still don't have an official answer to that whole, like, wind turning to jelly on the top of Faldara and then, like, him almost getting killed by Lan. Like, that was also a weird thing that happened to Rand.
That's true. I don't think that's the same as this, though.
Okay. No, that's fair.
Because this is a definite targeted attack.
It is, yeah.
At these 3 Taviran. So, put in place by, I think, somebody who has the potential to channel.
Okay.
Like a Forsaken.
Yeah.
Or an Aes Sedai.
Do you think that there's any other instances?
Or a Black Aja.
Yeah. Like, do you think there's any other instances besides these 3 boys? Like, did anybody else get some sort of weird targeted attack? The girls, like, we haven't seen any other perspectives.
I don't think it's a coincidence that there's 1 chapter here.
And
it's
3.
3 boys. Okay. And it's our main guys. And they're all getting attacked at the exact same time after a specific signal.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
So, maybe other weird stuff might have happened. But it seems to me like a very targeted attack.
Okay.
Okay, but here's our scene change. We are headed into Matt's perspective.
Yeah, a lot to unpack on this one, too.
Yeah, so he is also in the stone right now, and he is gambling, playing some weird version of poker with some soldier guys.
Yeah, so a weird version of poker that's called Chop.
Oh, I didn't know it had a name.
Yeah, he says it.
Is it mentioned? Okay, I skimmed it.
Yeah,
okay.
But I also, before we get into this, I want to point out how Matt has really fancy clothes on. And how he was the one who originally was making fun of Rand and Faldara way back when for having fancy clothes and thinking he's a lord.
Haters are jelly.
Yeah. So
he's making fun of Rand because he's jealous because he wanted nice clothes and to be called a lord.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to.
And that's what he is now. And he's also rich again.
Yeah, he likes that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Matt's plan here is to win enough gold to make him happy, and then he's going to leave no matter what Moiraine says.
Yeah.
Although it was his plan to leave real quickly before, and we also learned in a little bit that it's been about a month already.
Yeah, and these aren't just soldiers, they're lordlings.
Yeah, so I don't really know if he will ever really be satisfied with money.
Well, that's the question, is it just like he's saying one thing and he's going to do another?
Is he really actually concerned about Rand, and that's why he's hanging around?
Yeah, but doesn't want to admit it.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a tough one.
So we get a funny note about how their perfumed tobacco smells like a fire in a lady's chambers. Not that he's ever been in a lady's chambers. That he can remember.
Yeah.
Because he knows, this is where we get a little bit of a recap about how Matt has holes in his memory.
Yeah,
quote.
Yeah, and not even the Dark One would be mean enough to wipe out memories of being in a lady's dressing chamber.
Yeah.
It's a good take.
That's
I like
really
it.
Funny.
So.
And so all these guys are super drunk and are playing cards, and then one of them mentions a sea folk ship coming in, and they all tease this guy that all he wants is the sea folk women. And then one of them makes fun of Matt for going after the ideal wenches, which makes them all stop laughing.
Yeah, so there's a couple things to unpack here. So number one, do you remember why the sea folk are important? What are they looking for?
The guy.
They are looking for the guy, yeah. Do you remember what he's called? Starts with the C, ends in Oramor.
Okay, no.
The Coramor.
Right.
Yeah, so they're looking for their like chosen one, the Coramor.
Right.
So the fact that a sea folk ship is landing here is again another hint. You made a big prediction about Rand being the Coramor.
Oh, well, yeah, for sure.
Well, yeah.
For sure that's who this is.
Okay.
You think anyone else is anyone else? I don't know.
Well, it's just funny. Every time we talk about sea folk ship docking, we talk about this.
Yeah.
So, like...
Well, I thought you were going to talk about the sea folk who are all, like, captured over with Suroth.
Well, it's not this one.
Clearly not.
The Raker.
Yeah.
Yep.
I want to know if any have secretly escaped.
Ooh, okay.
But I don't think they'd go all the way to Tyr, probably.
Yeah, that's pretty far east,
Yeah.
so maybe not. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we get some names of these young lordlings who are like basically sons of the High Lords of Tyr.
Okay.
So there is Estienne.
Probably some of them that Matt maybe killed.
Maybe kind of sorta.
Yeah.
We don't know
Probably
yet.
not, but maybe.
Yeah, there's lots of lords and high lords and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
So there's Estienne, Adorian, Raymond, Carlamine, and Baron. Maybe it's Carlamine. There's a bunch of ways to pronounce it. So
I don't think it matters at all.
okay, well it matters to some people. I know that. So.
Okay, it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, and Estienne is the richest and the drunkest.
Yeah.
So he's the one.
And the skeeziest. If
Yeah.
That's a word. If that's a word.
Well, they're all pretty skeezy, and like we can
Yeah.
talk about that too. But Estienne is the one who is rambling about the Aiel, which like makes them not happy.
Right. Because we know that all of the Terrians, is that how you say that? Terrans hate Aes Sedai,
Yeah.
but it turns out they hate the Aiel just as much.
Yeah, Aes Sedai is still a little bit worse, but it's still really it's a sore spot.
Right. And so Matt has a really good hand and doesn't want everyone to stop playing now because of this like thing that this dumb guy said.
Yeah.
And he is serious about winning this money.
Yeah. Did you catch that some of the new card decks are starting to have Rand's face on them?
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
That's funny.
That's how you know you've made it in life.
Yeah.
Deck of cards has your face.
Oh, yeah. So, to get all the guys interested in staying around the table, he starts to tell a story that he knows is going to make him look like a fool.
Yeah, this is a good story, too.
It's pretty funny.
And it sounds true.
I like that it's true.
Yeah.
So, this story is about a game that the Aiel women like to play called Maiden's Kiss.
Yes.
And I just like that it's been a month and Matt is still going after these women.
And he's not unsuccessful, I gotta say.
Well,
based on this story, he is not unsuccessful.
Okay, he is unsuccessful in actually getting any of their
Is he?
like romantic attention.
Is he though?
I think he
Well, let's go through this story.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. I know that they end up playing with him and kissing him, but like they also think it's funny.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But he also doesn't make it to his own bed until daybreak.
That's true.
He spends all night with them kissing. It's not just like because they don't like him.
Okay. All right. Okay. So apparently, Ruark told Matt that playing this game with them is the best way to get to know them. And then the Aiel women think it's hilarious because no man has ever asked to play Maiden's Kiss before.
Yeah, because like only Aiel would do that, and Aiel know Aiel ways. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it seems like it could end very poorly.
Yeah. Like you being dead.
Dead.
I bet that they would probably kill you if you're a bad kisser.
Yep. Oh, yeah. So with this game, let me explain it. It's, basically spin the bottle with death and spears.
Yeah.
So they put all their spears on his neck and then take turns kissing him. And if they like the kiss, then they ease up. And if the kiss is bad, they press harder.
And he says, I got nicked less than I did shaving. He's good at kissing.
Good kisser.
He's got practice.
Okay.
Yeah.
With these women.
With women in general.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Generally, first time you kiss someone, you're not that good.
All right. Jeez. I get your point.
I gotta defend my boy Matt.
Okay. So all the men laugh at his story, the mood is lightened, and they stay to play the round of cards. So, we learn a bit about the Aiel staying in the stone because of Rand, not that any of the defenders could really make them leave.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
No, and they're all just staying around because Rand's here.
Yeah.
And that's it.
You know what's funny about the whole... I just wanted to make one more point about the Matt game. is that at the end of book 3, we heard Matt was hitting on Ban and Chiad.
Yes.
And then Ban and Chiad are the ones that he goes to first to play Maiden's Kiss.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, turns out he could get 2 for 1.
There you go.
Yeah. He's no dummy. Okay. So one of the guys wants Matt to talk to Rand for him.
Estienne.
Right. Because they all know that he grew up with Rand. And it turns out Rand, being the leader of Tyr now, is making proclamations and like being a leader and leading and stuff.
Yeah, he's lording.
Yeah.
Lording around.
And in his last proclamation, Rand has said that commoners now have the right to call lords before a magistrate.
Yes, this is huge. So the one big thing about Tyr we've seen is the class divide.
Yeah.
Especially when we first got introduced to Tyr with the whole...
Swords.
The swords thing and... What was the dude's name?
Komar.
Komar. Yeah, with the Komar thing where the innkeeper didn't even want to call the guards because the guards would automatically take the rich guy's side.
Yeah.
So, like, this is a huge deal.
Right, because apparently if you're a lord, you can get away with things like rape and assault.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Those things are bad.
Yes.
And go round.
And the lords that Matt is playing with don't like these changes.
No, they like rape and assault.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like a really weird dynamic, too. Like, it's hard because Matt's still sitting here playing with these guys.
Right, and he's clearly in favor of this ruling, which is good. Like, I definitely want Matt to be a good guy. He's clearly not for rape and assault.
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, he's kind of for assault, but only if the guys deserve it.
Yeah.
It's not
but like not because
beating
you got
a guy.
you got mud on my cloak or whatever, so.
Yeah, exactly. So Matt says, yeah, who knows what it'll come to. Hangings, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, he clearly wants this guy hanged.
Yeah, and I gotta say, like, Rand, even this big proclamation, like, it's a huge indicator to what Rand is doing. Like, he is changing Tyr as a city. Like, from Shepherd to the Dragon Reborn leader of Tyr, and he's making things different.
Yeah, well, now there is a rumor that Rand is taking Tyr to war with Ilion, which I don't believe.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, true, not true? Not true?
Well, no. He's clearly changing and putting in this legislature, you know, for the better of, like, people.
So is he just gonna go and kill...
And now he's not just gonna go to war.
Well, except we do know that there is a Forsaken...
Unless, that's the other thing I was thinking about, that maybe if he's been in contact with Moiraine, and Moiraine has informed him of the Forsaken who's leading...
Yeah, do you remember what that
Ilion?
Forsaken's name is?
Samuel?
Yeah, Samuel. Yep.
Okay.
That's the one.
And he's going by a different name in Ilion.
Yeah, Lord Brend.
Right, of the, 9 council.
Yeah, the Council of 9. He's, like, the new guy on the block. So,
right,
yeah.
But he's a Forsaken.
He's a Forsaken.
Okay, so I could see maybe if Moiraine is like, hey, Rand, here's the shit that's going on.
Go kill him.
Or let's go kill him together.
Yeah.
Because now she's all like, balefire his ass.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. I don't know.
Okay.
And also, you know, did we ever talk about how Moiraine just got like shit kicked by Baelsmon, and then all of a sudden in the next chapter she was just like up and telling everybody about everything?
Yeah, she seems cool. She's good.
Just fine.
She's cool. Yeah, don't worry about it.
She's just good.
No time for that now.
Yeah.
So, like, okay, if there is war with Ilion, it's not like we're Terrans, let's go kill the Ilioners and...
No. Yeah. There's rumor of maybe Rand going to Ilion to defeat a Forsaken.
Yeah, because they're just like, he's going to blast him with lightning.
Yeah.
We won't even have to fight.
Yeah.
It's probably not that.
Probably not.
Okay.
So we get word that there are some lords out in the countryside who don't take too kindly to this Dragon Reborn leader.
Yeah, he's taking their jobs.
Yeah, and he will try to get... No. And they will try to get an army to rise up against him and take back the stone. And I just go...
Not these guys, though.
Yeah.
These guys are loyal.
Okay, good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck, country high lords.
Yeah.
Okay. So they keep playing this card game, and Matt gets a new card, and he feels his luck tingling, and he knows what this card is going to be. The Ruler of Flames, which is the Amerlin seat.
Yeah.
Balancing a flame in her hand.
Yeah.
On the card. And so this is the last card Matt needs for like a super good hand.
The best hand.
Royal flush.
Basically what it is. I don't know enough about poker, but I'm pretty sure that's the best one.
And he says, the light burn my bones to ash if it is not so.
But...
He means to say that, but it turns out he says it in the old tongue.
Hey.
And the other guys hear it.
Yes, and this has clearly been like a recurrence.
Yeah, and
You're like, you did it again. Yeah. I caught you. You said it.
You know what? I'm connecting Matt's speaking in the old tongue to his like luck quote tingling.
Okay.
So his like luck thing is
like spider sense, basically.
Yeah, his luck is clearly connected to this old tongue Manetheren general.
Love it. No, that's good.
Yeah, there's like now I think there's a clear connection.
There's some sort of something.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Matt blames Moraine for the fact that he has holes in his memory, and that's why he doesn't know how he can speak the old tongue.
Yeah.
So that's how he's rationalizing it. I go, okay, that's one way to rationalize this.
Yeah.
I guess. It's like, oh, I guess I learned how to speak the old tongue, and I don't remember it because I don't remember half of the last year.
Yeah.
That's how he's, like, figuring this.
Matt likes to blame all of his problems on other people. So.
Mostly Moraine.
Yeah. It's a trend.
Yeah, it's also a Nynaeve trend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny, like, again, we get a lot of world building, like little things like the cards and even the High Lords. Apparently all the lords are supposed to know the old tongue, but they're just a bunch of rich kids who, like, never really paid attention in class.
Yeah.
So they know some words, but not really. Right. It's fun little things like that.
Yeah. So Matt is about to win with this hand, and he's going to win all the monies, when outside, in the darkness...
You gotta say it.
A cock crows.
Yes, it does.
And Matt shifts uneasily and tells himself that no one is going to die.
Yeah.
So this is obviously something he's heard before as well. This superstition about a rooster crowing at nighttime, I guess.
And he's not, superstitious, but he is a little stitious.
So then he looks at his cards, and the ruler of flames on the playing card now has a knife in her hand instead of the flame.
Yep.
And she reaches out of the card and stabs his hand with the teeny tiny little knife.
And if you thought that the axe was crazy...
This is crazier.
Playing cards coming to life.
Yeah. So...
Cue the fight scene.
Here's what happens. He yells out and flings himself backwards, kicking the table as he falls, and then time, slows down.
Yeah, go slow motion, basically.
Yeah. And... as the table falls, the ruler of flames hangs in the air, growing larger to almost life-size, and then she steps out of the card as some strange two-dimensional attacker.
Yeah.
And this is very Alice in Wonderland.
It is, and I gotta say that this was written, in the early 90s, and, before The Matrix came out with, super slow-motion fights. This is the original...
Sure.
Robert Jordan did it right here. Okay. It's great. So.
All right.
And I will not accept any previous slow motion fights.
Okay. That's fine. So, she goes for him with her dagger. Another guy on the card, a High Lord of Tyr, grows and steps out, drawing his sword. And all this is happening in weird slow motion, and Matt is still falling as another card is growing larger. The Queen of Andor steps out of her card and starts for him. So, he throws a dagger, but it sinks in the air like jelly.
Yeah, slow motion.
And he is sure that the rooster crowed for him, but he will not give up and die here. He throws another dagger and holds onto one of them as he struggles to get to his feet. And then everything all of a sudden goes back to normal speed, and he sees the cards back to normal size and pinned to, the wall?
Yeah, he basically, pinned them all with knives.
With his thrown knives, yeah. So, all of this happened in a matter of seconds, and one of the other guys pretends that he didn't see anything.
Yeah, they're all basically pretending nothing happened.
Yeah, but it's clear that everyone is super freaked out, and they all saw this.
Well, and that's kind of the big question is, did they all see it?
Yes.
Yeah, it definitely seems that way. Yeah. They're all drunk, so. Yeah.
Well, even a serving lady is cowering.
They're cowering,
in the corner,
so they just don't want anything to do with the power too. So and clearly this is something weird.
Yeah. And so Matt goes over to where the cards are pinned, and they are regular again.
Phew.
But the Amerlin still has the knife instead of a flame.
Ooh, okay.
And there is blood dripping from the back of his hand. So, like, it actually hurt him.
Oh, yeah, it happened.
Yeah.
So.
And so he tears the cards in half and finds the other two that he had in his hand and tears them in half too, just in case. And so it's clear that what was done here was with the power, and Matt yells, "Burn you, Rand. If you have to go mad, leave me out of it."
Oh, man. So he also thinks that it's Rand.
Yeah. I hope that him and Perrin show up at the same time, banging on Rand's door.
Yeah. Well, Matt goes stalking off. It doesn't specifically say that he's going to see Rand.
I think I hope he's going to go see Rand.
Okay. Yeah. And you're definitively saying that it's not Rand specifically, it's somebody attacking the three boys?
Yeah.
Some kind of way?
So I was wondering if there was any significance to the rulers on the cards who attacked Matt.
Okay.
Because,
so we have the Amerlin seat.
Yeah, we have the Amerlin seat, who I'm not sure about. And then I have a High Lord of Tyr.
Yeah.
And we know that a Forsaken was just the High Lord of Tyr and died.
Yeah.
Presumably. And then we have the Queen of Andor, who we know is being controlled potentially, definitely, maybe by a Forsaken.
Okay.
I don't know.
But what's the connection?
I have no idea. That's what I'm just...
Yeah, you're just throwing out accusations here.
Yeah, wild ones.
I mean, Swan is the Amerlin, so assuming
so should I be concerned about her? I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I'm just wondering out loud and
sure.
knowing I'm not going to get an answer from you. I'm musing, wondering if there's any significance to the three who attacked him.
Well, that is a good question.
Thanks.
Yeah, that is all.
That is all.
I mean, yeah, no, that's a good question. I mean, there's not much else to say, unless you're going to, like, throw Swan under the bus here.
I don't know.
I mean, we just saw her with Min.
Maybe she's being also controlled somehow.
Okay.
Because, I mean, it's...
By who, though?
Well, I don't know. It seems like right now, the common trend in the world is...
Forsaken are
taking over by either becoming the High Lords themselves, or, in the case of Morgaze, controlling the leader.
Okay.
And so the other leader of the White Tower of Tar Valon is the Amerlin. So is there potential for her to also be controlled, or somebody be taking over?
I mean, there definitely is potential.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's potential. Yeah.
That's all. It's just my musings.
Okay? I like it. I like the muse.
Okay, so we have a scene change.
Yes.
We get into Rand's perspective.
An excellent perspective.
And you took over the summary of this perspective.
I did, yeah. So this is a really interesting one, too. And we've kind of gotten tidbits from the other two perspectives from the boys about, like, what Rand's been up to, but here we get a little bit more confirmation. So, we start off with Rand asleep in a gigantic bed.
Yeah. He says, enough for 5, which is probably a king side.
Probably a king side. Yeah, you could probably fit 5 people there.
Yeah.
And he's dreaming. So the first dream seems a lot worse than the second dream. But not to him. Okay, so the first one, and we got to talk about this because it's Moiraine prodding him with a stick towards the Amerlin seat, who's waiting with a rope halter for his neck, like basically a noose.
Yeah.
And we get some like weird shapes moving in the trees, and Moiraine seems to be afraid, and there's Dark Friends and Forsaken lurking in the shadows, and he runs away, and Moiraine calls after him that it's too late for that. So it's weird.
Yeah.
It's not a lot like what we've seen with some of his like Baalzamon dreams by any means.
Well, no, because I'm suspecting
because he's dead.
He's dead.
Yeah, but it's like also not a totally normal dream. So I just want to get your take on this first little segment before we move on to the better one.
See, now it's hard for me to say this because of everything we know about dreaming.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like these are normal dreams.
Okay, and that's a relevant answer.
Yeah.
That is okay. So normal, kind of weird nightmares.
Yeah, that's the feeling I get.
Okay, so let's move into the second dream sequence. So he thrashes around a little bit and moves into the next dream, which is awesome because it's basically a sex scene without the sex.
Uh-huh.
Okay, So.
Well, no, it's him being like, oh, naked girls.
It's like a build-up.
No, Egwene, come back.
Oh, you're ruining all of it. It's so
Yeah.
good. Okay. Okay, so he's in the Waterwood back home where he learned to swim as a child. And then Min is here in her boy's clothes. And Elaine is in a gown fit for a palace.
Ooh.
And then they start talking. And Min pulls herself up on tiptoe to kiss him. And they start encouraging him to go swimming with them.
Yeah, okay. So I have to say, when we got Min's introduction, I was like, oh, nice. And then we got the Elaine introduction.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, good. And then I was hoping for one more girl to show up at the swimming hole.
Who was not Egwene.
Who is not Egwene.
Okay, so like the third
woman. And is
woman.
like someone else. And then I thought that would be like a little bit of a key or a tidbit because I'm still so in the dark about who the third one is.
And then maybe he'd be like, who are you?
Yeah.
Okay, but that didn't happen.
Yeah.
So,
or maybe it's someone he's already met before and he'll be like...
That's true too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah, okay. So it's kind of funny because then Min starts undressing and so does Elaine. And we get some really sexy description here of like gathering up the hem of your shift.
Ooh.
I gotta say, I don't even know what a shift is really. I think it's like undergarments.
Slip. Yeah. So like she has a big gown on.
Yeah.
She takes her gown off and then it's almost like a nightgown or something. It's
okay.
like this. It's like the little white cotton dress under the gown.
Okay, so it is sexy.
Sure.
Awesome. Okay,
yeah.
There we go. Well, this is Rand's dream, so, right?
Yeah.
And then he's like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, and he like has to like turn away. It reminds me of the scene with Celine.
Oh, yeah.
When she starts taking off his shirt.
In the shirt? Yeah. That's on her, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's like, oh, I can't look.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny because, like, he's a giant prude even in his own sex dream.
In his own sex dreams, he can't look at the naked ladies.
And it's so good because as he turns around to not look at the naked ladies, then he
Egwene
turns away and Egwene's there. Ah, man. And she doesn't look happy at all.
Yeah.
And then she turns away and, like, vanishes into the trees.
Yeah.
And then he takes
That's
chase.
why I think that this is a regular dream.
This is regular dream?
This is just his subconscious, especially with what continues after he wakes up.
Okay.
And he's clearly still thinking about her, about Egwene, and how he's like meant for her.
It's
even
so
though
bad.
he probably still can't marry her. But
and I keep thinking, like, I thought we were past this. But just to finish off this dream then, so it turns out Min and Elaine call after him to stay there with them, and they're already swimming in the water. And then they kind of like question him, and it turns out Rand doesn't know what he even wants. And then it turns into like a horror film, because then he raises his hand to his face to wipe away some sweat or something, and his hand's basically like decomposing.
Gross.
And then that kicks him awake. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, okay. So he like wakes up, he's covered in sweat, and just as a reminder, his old wound is still hurting, but it's like not broken yet or anything like that. It's just like tender.
Okay. And then I just have a question about this festering skin business.
Yeah.
Have we heard of this before? Is this supposed to be a part of his going mad thing? Is this actually
like
a
in the
thing
dream
that happens?
sequence?
No, just like in general. Like, why is he like, I'm not going mad yet?
Yeah,
like,
we don't know.
Okay.
But he's definitely not crazy because he's saying that he's not crazy.
Right.
Okay. I mean, there's not a lot else to it. We don't know. It's from Rand's
I
perspective.
have to say, Rand in this dream sequence seems a little more pulled together, less unhinged.
Good word for it.
If you will.
Yeah.
Because the whole tearing across the entire world by yourself in pure desperation was insane.
That was a pretty crazy move.
It was crazy. Like, in everything he was doing, and every time we saw him, things were looking not quite great.
But I mean, consider this. His whole thing, leaving the mountains, running to Tyr across country, like not stopping, not sleeping, being attacked, all these things. His goal was to make it to Tyr, see if he could take Kalendor to prove to himself that he is the Dragon Reborn.
No, I get it. I'm just saying.
So, like, maybe he got some of that confirmation so he can be and act less crazy and not feel...
Which is sort of nice to see that the craziness isn't, like, 100% setting in just from the taint.
Yeah, maybe there was, like, some pressure crazy there.
Yeah, the circumstantial crazy.
Yeah,
that's what I called it.
Everyone can be circumstantially crazy sometimes.
Sometimes.
It's okay.
Okay.
So then he goes thinking about the whole Egwene thing.
Yeah.
About like, oh my god, I promised to her.
Well, and then he's also thinking about Min and Elaine, and he's like, oh my god, why am I even dreaming of them like that?
Yeah.
Neither one of them has ever even looked at me that way.
Not even once.
And it's like, you stupid moron. Boys are so stupid.
I agree.
Boys are dumb.
But I can speak from experience that he is in fact thinking, things that boys do think.
Yeah.
This is not unrealistic by any means.
Yeah.
This is like spot on.
Yeah, there's also a pretty bad sentence in here.
Is there?
In terms of Egwene.
Which one?
When he says he loves her like a sister.
Ah, okay.
Like he's not having sex dreams about Egwene.
Yeah, he's not.
So that's bad.
Is it bad?
Well, it's not great for their relationship if there was ever hope. I really don't think there was. But if anyone was ever still holding on to that a little bit...
It's gone now.
And Egwene might still a little bit be holding on to...
Do you think that? Really?
I think that she's just so jealous every time Elaine talks about Rand.
She is possessive. I'll give you that. So
I don't really know what it is about it.
It's the whole like, oh, I can't have him, so neither can you.
Yeah.
So,
but is it because she still has feelings? Or what? But he doesn't.
Okay.
So he needs to let
with this
that
sentence,
go.
Yeah. So at least maybe hopefully finally he's like, okay, I'm done with her, but how do I let her know? Even though like, do you really need that conversation?
I think that they both actually do need to have that conversation. I don't think they're going to.
Okay, but they should have it.
They definitely should. It might turn into like a yelling match. Because
I
anytime they interacted on the way to Foldara was
it's
just
like not good
miscommunication and yelling at each other.
Yeah, okay.
So
let's move past that now. Yeah. So now he thinks about like he really needs sleep because the High Lords are going to be back in the morning maneuvering for his favor. So he has been dealing with a lot of shit for the last month with these High Lords.
Yeah.
And with the whole proclamation thing and all that stuff. And then he realizes he's not alone.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay, immediately, what did you think? Like he's being attacked, or did you have any thoughts?
No. I did not get a nefarious vibe.
Okay.
Like I know he jumps up and gets the sword and is like, "Oh my god, I'm being attacked," but I didn't think so.
Okay, so
I actually thought maybe it was like Perrin.
Oh yeah, because he said he was going.
Yeah,
soon.
I thought that it was someone he knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was really hopeful that it wasn't Lanfear.
But this is like better.
Yeah.
This is so good. So
it would have been good if it was Lanfear, but I think that she's gone for a little bit. So
okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know. So he first thinks someone's here to steal Kalendor.
Yeah.
Because like why wouldn't they, right?
Yeah.
And then he thinks, oh man, or worse, maybe they're here to kill me. Like also that man, you're the Dragon Reborn. And it does seem, just as a side note, here is where we get that bit where Tom seems to be like helping Rand a little bit to some degree with some advice.
Yeah.
And that does seem like a Tom thing. And I like that the whole Rand-Tom relationship seems to have been rekindled a little bit.
Yeah.
Like they had a connection way back when.
I still think that, I don't know if they ever lost their connection.
They just weren't together for a span.
No, it was like the Matt-Tom duo.
The Matt-Tom duo, and now it's like the Rand-Tom duo. Maybe that's back.
Sure.
Maybe they can become a trio.
That's the Great Hunt duo.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
okay. So, and I gotta say, the description on the whole, like, Rand assumes the void, he gets Sidene, he, like, embraces it, which isn't always easy.
Yeah, I like that we get a little bit of a note that he still can't always get it.
He's not 100% on it, so there's that. But then he does, like, the action hero roll out of bed, and then coming up with the fire sword in his hand, ready to, like, fight, he bursts all the, the candles in the room to light, and he's, like, ready for it, he's, like, looking around.
Yeah.
And then we have freaking Barrelane.
Yeah. And now,
this is great.
I know I said that I wasn't expecting Lanfear.
Yes.
But when you hear about a beautiful woman with dark hair in white standing in his room...
Oh, yeah.
What the hell am I supposed to think?
That's fair.
1 sentence later, it's obviously not her.
Barrelane.
But...
Hey, there's something about the color white, I guess.
Yeah.
It works.
Yep.
Okay, and this is great because not only is it Barrelane, but it's Barrelane in a very thin white silk robe.
Yeah. Now, I told you there would be a second time this episode where I admit that I was wrong.
About what?
Now, I don't know if it was a regular episode or if it was a bonus episode or a question and answer.
Okay.
But I have said out loud that I do not think that Berylane was interested romantically in Rand at all.
Oh my god, okay.
Do you remember me saying that?
I do. I think it was a bonus episode.
I think
Maybe
it was
the Q&A. Yeah.
And I said, no way.
No heckin' way.
I said, she just is fighting for power, just like the other lords. She wants dinner with him, nothing else. And I have to eat my words.
So do you, though? Okay, I want to talk about this scene, though, because, I mean, there's a whole lot to it.
Yeah.
Is this like a romance move? Is it a political move? Is it both? Like, is Berylane the kind of person who would do, you know, this and it just happens?
Sleep with the producer to get the part?
Well, you know, is he attractive enough that she considers it, or would it matter how good looking he is? You know?
Yeah.
He's the Dragon Reborn. So, I mean, there's something about the power there, too.
I know, but I said, like, there's no way that she's ever going to be...
Yeah.
But
there is something.
Like,
so.
I get that maybe this is her play for power.
Yeah.
I get that, but...
I gotta put it out there. I love Berylane as a character. I think it's phenomenal.
Really? Because I think that we have to have a conversation about consent.
Okay, I mean, there's a whole bunch of times we do that in this series, but okay, so let's get there. So first off, so she does the whole like suggestion, like, "Hey, I'm not armed, but you can search me."
Yeah, and he's like, "What? No."
No. And then Rand becomes very aware that he's only wearing his skivvies. Yes. So there's that. And then he's like super embarrassed and angry that she snuck in. So he lets the sword go, but he holds on to Saidin. And we get like the little recap of like what Rand knows of Berylane, which is apparently is not a lot. So it doesn't seem like that dinner happened, just because he doesn't seem to have a relationship with her at all.
Right. Okay.
And we got left with
Or if the dinner happened, there might have been like a bunch of other High Lords there too.
Possible.
It could have been like a...
But it wasn't like a one-on-one, what she kind of implied way back at the end of The Dragon Reborn. So she's the first on my end.
And I have to tell you, if you demand something of Moiraine, like...
It's never going to happen.
It's not going to happen, not the way you want it to.
Yeah.
So...
That's true, too.
Yeah.
And we do get confirmation, like, she's basically been a captive for months until Rand basically has, like, set her free. So in Rand's mind, he's thinking, like, why haven't you left yet? But, I mean, that's, again, the whole power thing is she trying to, like,
You're the Dragon frickin' Reborn.
Like, are you just going to leave at that? So, like, there's that. So, anyways, so this is the best conversation. I love it so much. Because he says, how'd you get past the Aiel guards? They're supposed to be, like, guarding my door. And she says, well, they let me pass because I told them that you had summoned for me. And he says, I didn't summon anybody. Why would I summon you at this time of night?
Yeah. He's just so innocent.
He is.
That's why I think... You know, I think of Perrin and Matt and Rand as these just conservative country boys who, like, you can't get into bed with someone if they're not your wife.
So Perrin is just kissing.
Yeah. Well, that's just, like, the vibe I get. Like, I don't get that vibe from Fael, so maybe that could have changed. But I just see him shutting her down like Rand is shutting Berylane down.
Yeah, okay.
Just because it's like... No, it's just like not even in their wheelhouse, except for maybe Matt. If this was Matt would be jumping all
Definitely,
over it.
probably.
Yeah.
Well, and I kind of feel bad for Matt because like all the girls that he thinks that should be interested in him like show no interest.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't get that.
I don't know why he's going after the Aiel ladies.
I don't know, but like he's going for it. So anyway, so
Yeah.
Rand figures it out why she might be here, and she says, "I could just be here to talk." And then she promptly drops her robe to the floor, revealing an even thinner white garment.
Strapless.
Yeah.
Strapless garment, and he thinks to himself, how is that even being held up?
Oh my goodness. Rand's never been introduced to lingerie.
Yeah.
But hey buddy, this is what that is. And as she continues to hit him, he's just basically like over and over again, like, I'll talk to you in the morning when the lights go on and there's people here.
This is why we need to talk about consent a little bit, because he's definitely saying no.
He is saying no repeatedly.
And she needs to back off.
She's not backing off. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's a big thing.
There is a note afterwards when she, like... There is, like, a note afterwards when he thinks to himself that he regrets having to say no to her because she is beautiful and he totally wants to do her.
And this is clearly probably... I mean... I'm going to say probably, but like maybe it's like she has practice.
Oh,
this
yeah.
isn't the first time that something like this has happened.
No, because we get lots of mention from her about how in Mayen it's way less formal.
Yeah, and again, how much of this is an act?
Yeah.
Like, does Berylane just know how to like use her talents?
I don't know, but he could just definitely, relieve some stress.
I mean, he's not promised anybody. You're not promised to Egwene here, man.
Yeah.
Like,
he says he is, though.
I know, and it's just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyways, it's a back and forth, like over and over again, but like, let's talk tomorrow. Why don't we just like, not be so formal?
Why don't we
Can
just
I call you Rand?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk afterwards. And then he pulls the Egwene Alvear card, and I'm thinking, what the hell? And for the record, it doesn't seem like Berylane totally 100% believes the whole like Egwene Alvear thing.
Yeah. Because she's met Egwene. Egwene's still here.
Yeah, and she's like, well, she's really young to be an actual Aes Sedai, so like,
and
maybe.
even if she is, like, you can marry her if she's a Green Aja.
And she covers it with, like, I'm not looking to marry the Dragon Reborn.
Yeah.
So there is some implication there.
Yeah.
And then Rand basically puts his foot down, says, it's time for you to go, and then he yells at her, do you think I'm made of stone, woman?
Yeah, like, stop it. Yeah.
I mean, she's got a good comeback.
Yeah.
Oh, something's made of stone right now, so... His arms.
His arms.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. And then touches his face, and that lights him off. And then he channels.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's like the big thing. So he does a trick, and it is a lot reminiscent of what the girls had done in Tar Valon.
Yeah.
Where they do something that they're not really aware of how, and then like see themselves do it, and then they learn it. Mm-hmm. So Rand can do that too. Where
he pushes her back with a wall of air.
Yes.
And then seals her off.
Like traps her off in a little air prison.
In a mime box.
Ah, that's what it is. Okay.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And then he ties off the flow.
Which is useful.
Egwene learned how to do.
Yeah. Yeah. So they both, and then he like studies it and like learns it.
Yeah.
After he has already done it.
Like Egwene did.
Yeah.
See, I do think that Egwene is gonna in some way teach him. If they can ever actually get past this
then like
business,
hopefully.
Yeah.
And then even while she's in this air prison, Berylane still can turn it on, and she does like the whole apology about how badly, she's handled it, about how in Mayen, women can speak freely, and then does some blatant complimenting on Rand's body, and then some really sultry pleading and apologizing and like, don't send me away. And that's when we get the cock crowing.
Yes. In the darkness.
In the darkness. So it seems like it's the same crowing that's happening 100%. For all three boys.
And I have to say...
The timeline lines up.
It lines up.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that's an obvious reference here.
Yeah, I think it's a signal.
Yeah.
Of some kind.
So we can also time out if Perrin and Matt are coming to see Rand now, what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So they're showing up afterwards. So as that sound happens, Berylane stares past Rand in horror, and Rand spins and whips out his sword.
Yeah.
And we get the fight sequence. So it's not an axe. It's not playing cards. It's reflection in the mirror.
It's himself.
Stepping out of the mirror, raising its own sword to attack him.
Shoot.
So, this is a little bit of a confusing sequence, kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
Because we get the main shape that steps out, and then one to his left, and he basically stabs that one to kill it. And then as he starts to see, like, every mirror in the room, an image is stepping out.
And apparently there's lots of them.
There's a lot of mirrors. So he lashes out with Sidene to break all the mirrors all at once.
Which is smart. Good.
It's a very smart move, but there's still 3 reflections who make it out before he breaks the mirrors. And they're all identical, except they have lifeless eyes.
It's very similar to, like, the playing cards where they're stepping out. Like, it's an image in something that, like, shouldn't be able to leave where it's held.
Yeah, doing something that it shouldn't. Just kind of also like Perrin's axe, right? Yeah. So...
Okay, and now, to not make light of this very terrifying scene...
Oh, yeah, I forgot, because you texted this to me.
I have to tell you...
Yeah.
I was laughing so hard to myself the entire scene.
Yeah.
Because I just kept picturing Dwight Schrute from The Office attacking himself.
Yes, with karate.
Yeah. So, I'm attacking myself with a throw punch. Here it comes. Block.
Well, how would you defend yourself from that move?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Throw punch, groin punch, groin punch. Oh, man. I was just laughing so hard to myself. And I know this is not a comedic scene in any way.
It's really bad, but it's
so
also
terrible,
hilarious.
But I just And now that's all I picture, and that's so funny.
Yeah. So that's what happens,
Those
basically.
Those who get it.
Yeah.
The end.
Go watch The Office. It's great. I love it. Okay. So during this fight, a couple important things happen. So he's got the 3 images attacking him. We're not going to go into too much details. But during this fight, the old wound in his side opens up.
Yeah.
So this is one of those times it does, and that's really important to note. He does feel his strength wearing down, and he can't call for help because the walls are too thick, which is a terrible design plan. And he's nicking the 3 images, but he's not doing serious damage. And then at one point, he dashes over the bed and puts his hand to steady himself on a table. And then a tiny miniature 6-inch figure of Rand stabs himself in the hand.
Which is funny.
It is hilarious.
Like, come on. That is so funny.
So, but this is the thing.
I don't know if it's supposed to be funny, but I found it so funny.
It is funny because it's like a 6-inch figure. And I am so excited to see how they do this on the TV show.
I knew you were going to say that.
Of course I am. It's such a good fight scene. It can be so good.
I know.
But it's like a miniature version of yourself attacking you.
You know what I was thinking, though? As we get further, like we're in book 4 now.
Yeah.
So who knows when we're going to see this.
If at all. Like they might not even show it. Who knows?
This seems like a pretty good one, though.
It's a good scene.
Like, you tell me about fan favorites, and I just assumed that this is a favorite scene.
It's a good one.
Because I talked to Spencer today, and she knew like exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah,
she's like, iconic. Where are you? And I was like, oh, this. And she's like, oh, yeah.
Rand fights himself in the mirror.
Yeah. His reflections outside of the mirror.
Yeah. Same thing. It doesn't matter. But this is important too because it's kind of like how he ends up defeating them. So he grabs the little dude of himself in the hand and he feels like the warmth being sucked out of him, the life being sucked out of him. So he channels Sidene basically into this little 6-inch, action figure of Rand and it bursts like a bubble and then he feels his strength growing.
And he hears a scream in the back of his head.
Which is also terrifying, but then there were like 100 or hundreds of like miniature visions of himself coming out of like the polished silverware and stuff. Yeah. And they all disappear when he breaks one of them.
Right.
So that kind of is the big indicator to how he can beat the big versions of himself. Because then he realizes he's got to grapple with one of the big ones to like reabsorb him.
Yeah.
And then he's thinking, well, if I grapple with one of them, I'm for sure going to get stabbed by the other two. So how do I do this? I really hope the reflections. So he lets his sword of fire disappear. And the 3 big reflections also drop their swords. But that's also a mistake because as soon as that happens, they all jump on him.
Yeah.
And then it's like a big brawl.
But
and
that's
a big
what he
grapple
wanted.
Fight.
He wanted to be able to like...
He did, but probably not exactly in this way. But then it's like the more drawing the heat. And he does eventually channel enough or do whatever he did, he's not really sure, to reabsorb one of them and the other 2 get sucked back inside him too, and it's just Rand sitting here.
Sure.
So that's what happens.
Why not? Why not?
Okay, so he wins, seemingly.
Yeah.
If you think that the real Rand is the one who won.
Yeah, because his eyes probably aren't lifeless.
Well, that's what he was saying. As he was being reabsorbed, he knew that if he died, then the other ones would continue to fight until only one was left, and that one would be the real Rand now. So, like, it's one of those funny, like, little anomalies.
But does it matter?
Doesn't matter. But that's the question. Is like,
but if they're evil,
is it an evil version of him? Like,
yeah, they were coming after him with like hatred and contempt. So
they did. So okay,
I don't know. No, I think it's Rand.
Probably Rand. Yeah. It's probably not like an.
I don't think that this
a spin-off
plot
series
point is gonna go on with it's actually a different Rand and Rand's actually dead.
We got to go back to book 2. Oh no. Okay. So then Rand thinks to himself, well, it's got to be one of the Forsaken or all of them. So Rand thinks to himself, it's probably one of the Forsaken trying to kill him, or maybe all the Forsaken, but it's probably not the Dark One.
Yeah.
That's a hint, though. That's important because at the end of the Dragon Reborn...
that's a hint that Moiraine has been talking to him about not being stupid.
And thinking that he, like, killed the Dark One?
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
They had that conversation at the, in the wrap-up Moiraine chapter.
They did, yeah.
That she was like,
hey, man.
No, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Left a body, so, okay. Now, this is really important. Rand limps over to Kalendor. He's leaving bloody footprints all over the carpet.
Because when all of the mirrors shattered, it shattered glass everywhere.
Yes.
And during this entire fight scene...
He's got hundreds of cuts
Hundreds of cuts on his feet. He's got cuts from the reflection guy's swords.
His old wound in his side is bleeding.
Yeah.
Like, he's in bad shape.
His white underwear are now red.
And he grabs Kalendor to just hold it.
Yeah.
Is that a good thing? I don't know.
I don't know.
We're not sure.
But you know who's still there in her trapped box?
Barrelane. Yeah. Barrelane's still there. And she is not doing so good.
No.
Okay, and she has a good question for him, though. She asks, which one are
you?
Which one are you?
Yeah.
And he's got a super badass line, which is totally spoiled by the last part of it. But he says, I'm the only one there is. And he ruins it with the one you were treating as if you were betrothed. Leave it alone, man.
He's trying to lighten the mood. Like, he thinks he's going to make her laugh.
He does.
But she is shook.
That doesn't work. Like, no. He doesn't, because also when he's in the void, he's, like, super cold and distant. So it's, like, not coming off well at all.
It's not coming across as a joke.
While you're, like, bleeding and bloody and just, like, she watched you murder.
She's like, I'm so sorry I ever tried to talk to you. I'll never talk to you again.
Yeah, I was going to say, so do you think this is the end of Barrelane with Rand? Do you think she's making a repeat visit at any point?
Not like this in the middle of the night. No.
Yeah, not like this. Okay. No.
And, you know, I do have to make a note and come back to my prediction about Barrelane.
She's done with him?
Yeah, but she's Perrin's hawk.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
That's my prediction. I don't know
how
strong that is right now, but it's the only hawk I've seen.
Okay. Yeah.
Since there was a prediction for a hawk for Perrin.
Hey, who's on his way to come see Rand right now? Huh? Perrin.
Okay,
is on the way.
With Fail. They're arm in arm.
That's true.
Maybe it's not a romantic hawk.
Okay, there's that too.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like a...
Yeah, just in some way connected.
Some way connected, not necessarily romantic.
Yeah, because she had a little teeny crown.
Yeah.
That had a hawk on it.
Well, yeah,
just in case anyone forgot why I made
she's the first
prediction.
of man. Yeah. So that like is their symbol or whatever.
Whatever.
It seems, so
she's the hawk.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as Rand is lightening the mood super well, he's like, "You can go now," and lets her out of the air prison. And she does say on her way out, like, "Hey, I can send the Aiel in, or like send for an Aes Sedai to, fix this up because you're looking terrible." And he says, "No, don't worry about it. I'll get them in a bit. And also, don't tell anybody what happened here. Don't tell anyone yet, because I'm going to deal with this on my own."
Yeah.
So, big question: is Barrelane gonna keep this to herself?
Yeah.
She's like not gonna question this ever again. She's like, okay.
I think that she would be stupid to mention it again, because if it gets out anywhere that Rand didn't specifically tell, then
she's the only one who saw.
He's gonna know it's her.
Yeah.
And if she's legit scared of him and the power,
and she seems to be now,
then she'd be smart to. I mean, not every character is smart.
That's true.
In this series, so I mean, maybe she'll be telling somebody, but I don't think it's smart for her to be.
Yeah, she seems like really on guard now. So yeah. Okay. So just to kind of end this chapter here and end the sequence, so Rand's in like a really bad situation because he's basically bleeding out right now, and he's sitting with Kalendor across his knees, and he's still holding Saidin through Kalendor because the big sword that's not a sword is glowing. So that's kind of implying that he's still holding Saidin and just chilling.
Yeah.
Because he wants to think about a boy named Rand who's a shepherd.
Yeah, and he has a hard time letting go of Saidin because it feels so good.
Yeah, it does. So,
but also gross. At the same time, like sewage on sweet water.
Well, that's the
taint. That
taint.
was the description in this chapter.
Yeah, and that's the taint, right? So it's like, and we kind of get that description from the girls too with Saidar, where it's like, it's really nice to be holding because everything's all good and awesome and way better.
But when you have an Aes Sedai teacher, they train you to make sure you don't get too attached.
Yeah.
And all of that crap.
And Rand doesn't have that.
Rand doesn't have that.
Plus the taint of the Dark One is there sitting on Saidin.
Right.
That's
whatever that means.
Well, that's what the sewage side of it is. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so now we got the boys, hopefully.
This was a good chapter.
It's a good chapter. A lot of stuff happens. We get a lot of backstory on what's been happening.
I hope this isn't one of those, a weird, exciting thing happened, and we never really get an explanation for it.
As to why?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll tell you that we may or may not get that explanation.
Thanks, Brett.
You're welcome. Okay.
That's so helpful. I just hope it's not. Because this is one where I'm like, okay, what the hell's going on?
Yeah. We need an answer. Okay.
Yeah, I would like one.
Yeah.
I would like one.
Well, Perrin and Matt, hopefully, we don't know about Matt, but Perrin and Fael are on their way here to see Rand.
Yeah. And probably Matt?
Yeah, possibly. We don't know for sure. So
I hope that there's a meeting with all three of them. We haven't seen all three of them together in so long.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much that can happen in this book. So, like, I mean, speculation-wise, I don't know if we want to touch on anything really, but...
No, I want to read.
Yeah, you get to. Two chapters. Here we go.
Although...
It's basically, yeah. Same length.
Yeah, it is.
And we're almost like 100 pages in here, so
I know.
It's good.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Happened real fast.
And the baby slept for most of it.
Yeah, that was not too bad.
Not too bad. Okay, and we also just want to mention really quickly that we actually have merchandise.
Right.
A merch storefront up and running. You can go and get yourself a Wheel Weave shot glass.
Yes.
Frosty mug.
Yep.
T-shirts.
All the good stuff. Just in time for the holidays. And you can find all that good stuff at www.newcreations.com/collections/the-wheel-weaves. And I'll post that link in the description of this episode. I'll also post it at our Twitter page and on Instagram. Plus, you'll be able to find it on our Patreon page as well. And for now, I'm going to say that this is part of the pattern now. Yeah, it's part of the pattern.
Thank you for listening to this episode. The Wheel Weaves is hosted by Dani and Brett, produced by Dani and Brett with Vince Lewick, Derek Benton, Michelle O'Brien, Moltude, Benjamin, Passion Socks, and Mozyme, with music by Audionautics.com. If you'd like to support us making great content, and you're interested in extra bonus content like bonus episodes, Q&As, outtakes, early released episodes, unedited video released episodes, and exclusive merchandise, please visit patreon.com/thewheelweavespodcast. Don't forget to check us out on social media, on Instagram and Twitter. You can find us at The Wheel Weaves Podcast. We love interacting with our fans, and that's the best way to get a hold of us if you want to chat. Also, you can join the conversation with other Wheel of Time fans with Brett and myself over at our Discord channel for spoiler-free and spoiler-full content. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, and feel free to tell a friend about us because referrals really are the very best compliment. Thanks again for listening, and this really is part of the pattern now.